On a lonely stretch of Route 97, surrounded by endless forests and forgotten farmland, there once stood a place that travelers swore was unlike any other. It was not a grand hotel, nor a roadside attraction. It was simply a cheap motel, 12 rooms in total, with a buzzing neon sign promising affordable rates and fresh coffee. Yet, those who dared to stop there would find that sometimes, you don't just rest at the Vanishing Motel, you become a part of it. The origins of the motel date back to the late 1950s, when the highway was first expanding. Locals at the time already spoke of strange things in the woods, lights with no source, whispers carried on the wind, and cattle that disappeared without a trace. But progress did not care for legends. Soon, the structure rose out of the earth, a two-story building painted white with peeling green trim. At first, it was just another roadside stop for truckers, salesmen, and weary families. The first signs that something was wrong came quickly. Guests complained of restless nights, claiming they heard footsteps in the hall after midnight. Some described whispers through the thin walls, as if someone was calling their name. Others said they woke up drenched in sweat, after vivid dreams of wandering outside into the trees, following a voice that promised answers. In 1961, the first disappearance occurred. Charles Whitmore, a traveling salesman, checked into room 6. His car remained in the lot, his wallet and suitcase neatly placed by the bed, but Charles was gone. Police searched for weeks, combing through the woods, dragging nearby ponds, and questioning locals. Nothing. It was as if the earth itself had swallowed him. His family waited for years, never receiving closure. Charles's name was the first on what would become a long and haunting list. Over the next decade, more vanishings followed. A young couple on their honeymoon. A truck driver who called his wife to say he'd be home by morning but never arrived. A mother and her teenage son who stopped for the night and were never seen again. Each case left behind eerie similarities: cars untouched, belongings left behind, and no signs of struggle. The motel's reputation began to spread. Locals stopped recommending it. Taxi drivers refused to drop passengers off there. Even delivery men claimed they felt uneasy when approaching the property, as if unseen eyes were watching. By the mid-1970s, the motel was barely operational. Those who did stay often spoke of bizarre experiences. One man described hearing someone knock on his door 3 times, only to open it and find the hallway empty. Another swore he saw a figure standing at the end of the corridor, motionless, watching. When he blinked, it was gone. A family who stopped there in 1977 claimed the clocks in their room all ticked backward through the night. The next morning, they left in such a hurry they forgot half their luggage. The strangest incident of the decade involved a hitchhiker who checked in with 2 other travelers. He was seen entering room 3. The following morning, the 2 companions checked out, but the hitchhiker was nowhere to be found. When asked, the pair insisted he had never existed. The motel ledger still contained his name. To this day, nobody knows what happened. In the 1980s, thrill seekers began to treat the motel as a challenge. A group of amateur investigators spent the night there in 1983, recording their experience on video. Hours of silence passed until around 3 in the morning when static filled the tape. Faint voices were captured, distorted, fragmented, impossible to fully understand. Slowly, each member of the group fell silent, until only one voice remained. The lone survivor of that night left town immediately after, refusing to speak about what happened. Years later, fragments of the tape surfaced online, sparking debate and fueling the motel's terrifying reputation. In 1991, private investigator Harold Jenkins rented a room, determined to debunk the legends. He kept a journal, describing the odd smells, the faint sound of a radio playing music that wasn't there, and the overwhelming sense of being observed. On his fourth night, his notes stopped. Jenkins was never seen again. His car was still in the parking lot, keys in the ignition. His disappearance remains one of the most infamous connected to the motel. Through the 2000s, the property changed hands multiple times. Each new owner promised to restore the business, and each failed. In 2004, a family attempted to reopen the motel as a budget lodge. Within months, their teenage daughter vanished. Her parents shut the doors and left town overnight, abandoning their furniture, their records, and everything they owned. Neighbors swore they drove off in tears, never to return. Even in recent years, the stories haven't stopped. In 2011, a long-haul trucker parked his rig outside and checked into room 9. His GPS log showed he never left. His truck sat idle for days before police investigated. His last logbook entry read only 2 words, "Something outside." Nothing more was ever found. In 2018, a group of college students live-streamed their stay. At first, it was all laughter and jokes. But as the night went on, the mood shifted. Viewers began commenting that they saw shadows moving in the background. Shapes that didn't belong to anyone in the group. Around 2:47 a.m., the feed cut out abruptly. None of the students were ever found. Their last frame, frozen online, showed one of them staring wide-eyed at the corner of the room, mouth open as if about to scream. Theories about the Vanishing Motel vary. Some claim the land is cursed, perhaps tied to an ancient burial ground. Others believe it is a thin spot between worlds, a place where the boundary between dimensions is worn and fragile. Conspiracy theorists argue that the motel was once the site of government experiments, and that the disappearances are tied to classified projects gone wrong. Skeptics dismiss it all as coincidence and rumor, though none can explain the belongings left behind, the cars untouched, the lives interrupted mid-sentence. Today, the motel is abandoned, its neon sign shattered, its windows boarded. But travelers along Route 97 still report strange sightings. Faint lights in the windows. Music drifting across the empty lot. Shadows pacing behind broken curtains. Some say if you step too close, the air feels different, thicker, heavier, charged with something you can't explain. One story tells of a man who pulled over to take a photograph of the building at night. When he developed the image, he noticed a figure standing in the window of room 6. The figure was blurry, indistinct, but seemed to be waving. He swears he was alone that night. Others who have tried the same claim their photos come out distorted, lines warped, as if the motel refuses to be captured. There are those who say the building itself breathes. That if you lean against the walls, you can feel a faint rhythm, like the slow inhale and exhale of something enormous, something alive. And once you hear it, you'll never forget it. The Vanishing Motel remains one of America's strangest unsolved mysteries. Was it just a business cursed by misfortune? Or is it a place where reality bends, where time stutters, and where those who enter are claimed by something beyond comprehension? Perhaps we'll never know. But if you ever find yourself driving down Route 97 late at night, tired and searching for a place to rest, and if you see a faint glow of neon flickering through the trees, remember this: some rooms are never meant to be occupied.